comments over on Instagram. My links are all down in the description. Other than that, have a fantastic rest of your week. I will see you right back here next time. Peace. How's it going, my peeps, and welcome back to the 9th annual Pumpkin Spice Month. For some reason this year we find ourselves in the Swampy Bayou. Now usually with these months we start with good recipes and then gradually work ourselves up to the more insane, out there ones, but this year we're just gonna go for it and start by remaking some of the most cursed TikToks I've seen all year. At long last, spooky season 2024 is finally upon us, so let's get right into this one. You want to talk about cursed recipes? I'm not sure there's a better one to start with than edible bloody Band-Aids. I grabbed some vanilla wafers, raspberry jam, and white cookie icing. It's kind of incredible that I've been doing these videos for as long as I have, and yet still I'm sometimes at a loss for words for the creativity of some people. And this one is no exception, because who once saw a bloody Band-Aid and said, I would like to eat that. And why does it have to be bloody? Why can't it just be Band-Aids with a shaved down wafer to get rid of those sharp edges and then a little shot of the icing? That would have been perfectly fine. But no, we have to finish these with some raspberry jam to make it look like one of those used Band-Aids stuck on the side of a public pool. At least these ones weren't very difficult to start with, so let's give them a shot. Steven doesn't think the background is Halloween enough.
No, it's not. You have to put a zombie hand or zombie fish or blood.
And you know, when you could have had an opinion, if you were helping. The scariness is gonna be in the food. Look at these bloody Band-Aids. Come eat one. I realize this is less of a taste test and more of a DIY test. All these things are gonna taste good. But like, who is this for? You're not gonna serve these at a party or like a luncheon. Do you serve them to like kids? Like a Halloween kids party, I don't know. They do taste good. I guess make them if you want to freak out the squeamish folk in your life. Next up, we've got something slightly less unhinged and maybe even a little bit endearing. It's the skeleton mushroom pizza, and I grabbed some marinara and mushrooms, parmesan, mozzarella, and pizza dough. Let's get it out of the way now. Could I have made my own pizza dough and whipped together my own San Marzano tomato sauce? Sure. Did I want to? Not really. That's also not the point of this recipe, because after you shred up your cheese, you have to chop your mushrooms in half and use a little paring knife and a straw to try to make these look like skeletons with their little eyes. And I kept looking back at that video, trying to figure out why mine weren't giving skeleton as strongly as theirs were. And I realized I absolutely got the wrong mushrooms. You're supposed to use white ones, but maybe that's nothing a little mushroom peeling can't solve. Only here on the David Seymour channel will you find somebody spending 40 freaking minutes peeling miniature portobello mushrooms so they give a slightly more Halloween decoration look on your pizza. But I chugged along by stretching out my pizza dough with plenty of flour, adding a nice thin layer of sauce, a good amount of my Parmesan. I did go a little bit lighter than I normally would with the cheeses, just because I feel like the mushrooms kind of pop better against that red sauce. I didn't want to cover it all. And after about 9 minutes in my blazing hot oven, it's not looking half bad. After baking, did it look exactly like the original video? No, but most of the time they don't anyways. I'm so thrilled I spent 5 minutes a piece peeling these just for them to turn brown again. I probably should have saw that coming. It's a decent pizza. It's just made with all store-bought stuff. I guess the only real test here was how the mushrooms hold up in the oven because they're so big. And they're a little undercooked in the middle. If you don't love slightly squidgy mushrooms, you might not love this. Or just come smaller and make tinier little skeletons. This is one that I'd be slightly more likely to recommend. It still looks spooky and Halloween, but also having been made by somebody a little less unstable. And lastly today, we've got one that will truly put to test the capabilities of one's digestive system as well as their oven. From Jane Brain, it is a whole roasted chicken in a pumpkin. I grabbed a giant pumpkin and onion and garlic powder, paprika, cinnamon sticks, and my chicken. Pumpkin spice coffee and some potatoes, chili powder, our leftover pumpkin pie spice, an onion, salt and pepper and brown sugar, turmeric, a lemon, garlic, and fresh thyme. Once again, I know what you're probably thinking. Why are you wasting your time on this? Based on the history of the antics of this woman on her TikTok, this is probably going to be the most demented one yet. At first, I did agree with that notion, but the more I thought about it, in its practicality, the more I'm morbidly intrigued. Dare I say, willing to put myself out on a limb to say that this actually might work? But let me explain. After I got my pumpkin all cleaned up and ready for its chicken insertion, and our homemade pumpkin spice dry rub whipped up, I chopped up all my veggies, including my knuckle. It's what happens when you try to get all fancy and chop onions all nonchalantly, you catch some skin. Pretty ironic that I now have to put a real blood warning. Mother f***er. I could only wish that this was fake raspberry jam, like the first recipe we made, but the universe works in funny ways. But then you just gotta whip all this together, throw it in your pumpkin, and bake it off for God knows how long. Gotcha, bitch. I am sick of these things terrorizing my life. Now, the reason I think this actually might come out half decent is because over time in the oven, the pumpkin and the chicken is gonna exude a ton of liquid, and by the end of this, it's gonna essentially be a braised chicken in a pumpkin. The pumpkin is just standing in instead of your pot or Dutch oven. Will we get that golden, crispy chicken skin that I love? Obviously not, but maybe a pumpkin will insulate this and have it cook very evenly. Oftentimes when you're cooking giant pieces of poultry, the wings or the drums will be a little overcooked by the time the interior is fully cooked, so maybe this will be the new wave, who knows? Either way, after about 3 hours in a 350-degree oven, the internals finally came up to temperature. I pulled it out and this thing was smelling incredible. I was getting all those warm spices. Everything seems cooked all the way through and juicy. It was cutting nicely. And I know it wasn't part of the video, but if you thought I was gonna be able to let all this liquid gold go to waste and not make myself a gravy, you are mistaken. I will gladly be potentially the first human to add some MSG and a cornstarch slurry to a 50-50 split of chicken drippings and pumpkin juice to make what looks like a golden, delicious, glossy gravy, and then smother my chicken and potatoes in it with a little bit of parsley, because there's nothing wrong by the looks of this. Oh look everybody, look at this perfectly normal, standard, nothing weird about it, delicious chicken dinner. It's not like anybody could say that this didn't work. The potatoes are cooked through, the chicken is cooked decently, and I know that wasn't part of the video, but the gravy's kind of the best part. It's really good. It is super sweet from all the brown sugar, super savory from the chicken, obviously the MSG. But can I actually sit here and recommend that anybody make this? I don't know. If you're a parent and you're just looking to make a quick chicken dinner, absolutely not. But if you're looking for something fun and different and seasonal, and you've got a lot of time and money sitting around, then I would say go for it. You can customize the seasonings. You don't have to use a giant chicken and pumpkin like I did. Not really where I expected to end up today, but I'm not upset about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, leave me a big old like. It helps out the channel a ton. Thank you all so much for coming back for another year of this craziness. If you have any ideas that you'd like to see me try, leave them down in the comments. There is one more slot open this month. I look forward to sharing everything else I've got planned for you guys for the rest of this month. But until then, have an excellent weekend, and I'll see you right back here next time. Peace.